All right. So had to restart this because nobody said anything, and I couldn't. I realized I wasn't even in the stream, so yeah, I wasn't talking. So let me get back to the top here and get this going again. I think it talked for like a half hour. Actually, more than that, man. Nobody said anything. That's messed up. You guys just let me hang there. All right. All right. So round two. Round two. Um, all right. So, gonna say this, man. It's gonna take me a little bit to get to a recap of that that last mess that we did. Um that's because it's a lot of work, man. I'm trying to figure out who these people are that were possibly killed in some of those videos. So I got to go through autopsies, and I never really went through those very well. So that's something I'm going to have to do before I can actually recap everything that was dealt with. Um, so I'm going to go through a preliminary report in the time being, you know, um, just to try and get through some of this. And I mean, honestly, this is going to take a while. So, because there's a lot of stuff in here and a lot of stuff I'm going to argue with. So, I'll read the names off, man, because that's what I do. That's how I remember them. And I'm going to give a hell of a lot of my own commentary within all this. So, I know a lot of people aren't really interested in this. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but, it's what I'm doing. So, Force Investigation Team, Lieutenant Dennis O'Brien, Sergeant Jerry McDonald. We just heard that name in the HLN report, right? He was one of the guys talking in there. Detectives Trevor Alsop, Mark Cullen, Breck Hodson, Craig Jex, Jason Levitt, Joseph Patton, Blake Penny from Homicide. So that's Force Investigation Team, Homicide Department. So they did work on this, huh? Lieutenant Dan McGrath, Sergeant John Harney, Sergeant Matt Sanford, Sergeant John Scott, Detectives Maureen Bogatai, Dolphus Boucher, Chris Bunn, Laura Cody, Mitchell Dosh, Jared Grimmett, John Hoffman, Ryan Yeager, Gary King, Kristen Long, Gerald Mosh, Jason McCarthy, Fred Merrick, Terry Miller, Cliff Mogg, Robert Oceanhurt, Tate Sanborn, and Todd Williams. Todd with one D. All right, LVMPD, Joseph Lombardo, Sheriff. Um, LVMPD preliminary investigative report. 1 October mass shooting, casual shooting. Don't care about the event. That number doesn't mean much to me. Division of occurrence, Tourist Safety Division. Date of incident 10/1/2017. Time of call 22:05. So 10:05. 10:05. I heard that before. Incident locations. Mandalay Bay Resort Casino. Don't care about the address. Las Vegas Village. Don't care about the address. Suspect Stephen Paddock. Submitted 1/18/18. I don't remember if that was, I don't remember what date we actually got this, but that was the date they put this together, I guess. Submitted by Detective Trevor Alsop, Sergeant Jerry McDonald. There he was. He was a big player in this. Lieutenant Dennis O'Brien. So Jerry McDonald. So he had a big part in this. Don't care about all this. Introduction. Most of this is old information. On October 1st, well, it's all old, 2017, over 22,000 people came together to enjoy the Country Music Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada. On the third and final night of the festival, lone gunmen opened fire into the crowd from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. The gunfire continued for over 10 minutes, resulting in the deaths of 58 innocent concertgoers and injuring more than 700. With law enforcement closing in, the suspect took his own life. It is not standard practice for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to issue an investigative overview related to an open case. So you fuckers should be grateful, is what they're saying. Due to the magnitude of the investigative response and the number of victims associated with this incident, Sheriff Joseph Lombardo felt it was important to author an overview of all investigative work accomplished in the aftermath of 1 October. Oh, thank you, Joe. The report is not intended to be comprehensive and to be a comprehensive and final account of the facts and evidence gathered, but rather an overview of the investigation. Yeah, no shit. He didn't give us not much. The investigation into this incident is ongoing, and a full comprehensive report will be released upon its completion. Yeah, it wasn't that comprehensive. That's some bullshit. This report will reflect the number and identities of victims known to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to date. This information is vital in order to grant assistance, properly categorize the level of crime, and most importantly, honor those who fell prey to this horrific act of violence. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department would like to recognize and thank all of our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners for their assistance with this investigation. Incident details. Second verse, same as first. On October 1st, 2017, Steve Paddock began shooting into the crowd attending the Route 91 music festival from his hotel room on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. As a result, 58 people died and over 700 were injured. An extensive joint investigation involving the LVMPD and the Federal Bureau of Investigation began immediately after the incident. Every facet of Paddock's life was explored, and we're not going to share it with you. Let me make sure that I am being heard here. Okay, yeah, I am. All right, we're good. We're good this time. At the time of the incident, Paddock was 64 years old. He owned residences in Mesquite and Reno, Nevada, and lived with his girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley. Paddock had limited law enforcement contact and no criminal history. Paddock embarked on numerous international trips beginning in 2012. Now, that's interesting because I'm wondering what was going on in his life in 2012. You know, there are a lot of sales of his homes or something like that in 2012 that maybe led him to traveling around. I'm just kind of curious about that. These include trips to Europe, Asia, and South America because he started in 2012. It says, he started traveling in 2012. I don't remember when his pilot's license was either, man. Gonna have to look that up. Most of Paddock's international travel was unaccompanied. Okay. Paddock also took multiple cruises with destinations in the Bahamas, Alaska, and Mexico. Through interviews with Paddock's relatives and acquaintances, investigators learned Paddock lived a seemingly normal life. He was married at least once and divorced twice. Married twice, divorced twice. He worked as an accountant and in the family real estate business. So according to this, real estate was a family business. I guess that's, I don't know, I guess. That's what it's saying here. From 1982 through September 2016, Paddock purchased 29 firearms. These purchases consisted of handguns, shotguns, and one rifle. From October 2016 through September 2017, Paddock purchased over 55 firearms. Most of the firearms purchased from 2016 through 2017 were rifles in various calibers, along with over 100 firearm-related items through numerous retailers. The firearm-related items include scopes, cases, bump stocks, and ammunition. So they couldn't just say stocks. They'd say bump stocks, just to rub that in a little bit. And I guess, ammunition is a firearm-related item. I don't know, whatever. The Ogden. September 17, 2017, Paddock checked into the Ogden, where he was booked through September 28, 2017, which overlapped his reservation in Mandalay Bay. The Ogden is a condominium complex. Now, it doesn't say that yet. It's a condominium complex located in downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. Paddock stayed in 3 different units during this time. Now, I've seen evidence saying that he stayed in 5 different units. So, I'm not too sure about that. I'd have to see that again. Somebody shared that with me a while back, and I seem to remember 5, not 3. I don't know why I keep saying 3. I think they said it during that HLN thing too. So somebody read this report here. Good old CNN making up facts as they go along. Paddock's stay at the Ogden coincided with the Life is Beautiful Music Festival. Similar to the Route 91 Music Festival, Life is Beautiful event was held in an open-air venue from September 22nd, 2017 through September 24, 2017. While staying at the Ogden, Paddock exhibited behavior which was similar to his time spent at the Mandalay Bay. Whatever that means. Paddock left for long periods of time, returned to Mesquite, Nevada, flying to Reno, Nevada, and traveling to Arizona. So, yeah, not necessarily the same. Yeah, not the same. He never flew from the Mandalay Bay to Reno, Nevada, and then Arizona. No, he didn't do that. Paddock was observed numerous times gambling at downtown Las Vegas casino. So, in the report, we get one casino. We get the El Cortez, but according to some of the PDFs, he was seen at the D Hotel gambling, which they left out of this report. Well, they left out of the official timeline, I guess. But yeah, he was seen at the D Hotel gambling. And so we do have multiple hotels, I guess, if you count that. The El Cortez and the D, that would be, as opposed to the El Cortez on 2 separate nights, which, in downtown Las Vegas does not include the Mandalay Bay because the Mandalay Bay is not considered part of the downtown area. Anyway, moving on. Paddock was also observed moving numerous suitcases from his vehicle to the various units he rented. Really? Was he? Was he, though? Really? I mean, do they have footage of that? I thought we didn't have footage of that. I thought that got erased. Huh. All right. Well, saying they got footage. So LVSA, if you're listening out there, they got in the preliminary report that Paddock was observed moving numerous suitcases from his vehicle to the various units he rented. So the guy down at the front desk ain't going to know what unit he's bringing those suitcases into. So there's got to be some footage or something up there. I don't know. Unless they talk to witnesses or something like that I haven't seen yet. So on Monday, September 25th, 2017, Paddock checked into room 32135, the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino with the schedule. And that's thanks to Laura Loomer for breaking that open. So we can give her props on that. With a scheduled checkout date of October 2nd, 2017, on Friday, September 29, 2017, Paddock checked into room 32134, which connected with room 32135 by connecting doors. From September 25th, 2017 through October 1st, 2017, Paddock transported numerous suitcases to his room on several occasions. Paddock also left the Mandalay Bay on multiple occasions for long periods of time, often returning to Mesquite, Nevada. So, I'm sitting here thinking, well, where else did he go? But I guess he did go to the Ogden. So we can say, I guess, whatever. All right. So then we get this map, which is kind of crappy. But, it doesn't show the whole hotel. I don't know why they didn't show the entire layout of, the whole thing. But, this is what we got. Elevator floors, what's that? 31 through 62. And then there's the elevators for 17 through, how's that go? 17 through 30? It looks like, 30. Okay, so 17 through 30. And then the one, on the south end there would have been 1 through 17. So, and then we've all seen what this kind of place looks like. So there's that. All right, so we got a map of the Harvest Festival here. The venue, and it looks like this map was taken, or this picture, I'm sorry, not a map, picture. This picture was taken, immediately in the days following. We still have everything there, and these days, this looks like a parking lot. They got rid of everything pretty much there, except for some of the structures, but otherwise, this is kind of just a parking lot at this point. So, this, and then you see the debris still out there, people's lawn chairs, stuff like that. So I'm guessing this was taken in the days immediately following the actual event itself. Whether they did the cleanup of the bodies at this point, I don't know. I can't tell that, and I really don't want to zoom in. I don't think that matters all that much in this context. October 1st, 2017 was the final day of the Route 91 Harvest Festival held at the Las Vegas Village concert venue located at 3901 South Las Vegas Boulevard. The site is an open-air concert venue, approximately 15 acres in size. It is bordered by Las Vegas Boulevard to the west, Reno Avenue to the north, Giles Street to the east, and Mandalay Bay Road to the south. The festival was a 3-day country music concert with multiple entertainers. On October 1st, 2017, the concert began at basically 3 p.m. because I hate military time. Jason Aldean, the last performer, was scheduled to take the main stage at 9:40 p.m. over, which is a strange time. And I used to go off about that, but I guess they gave him an hour and 20 minutes. Gave him maybe a, I don't know, 40-minute setup time. I don't know when the concert or when the band before that got off. Over 22,000 people were attending the final day of the festival. Well, yeah, it's probably how many people had tickets, I guess. Incident, October 1st, 2017, at approximately 9:18. Mandalay Bay security officer Jesus Campos was assigned to check several hotel service optimization system alarms. Sounds so official. For various rooms inside the hotel. Room 32129 was the last of the rooms security officer Campos was assigned to check. Now, okay, this is where things get kind of stupid, because this really, okay, so if we're going to go by the Nightline special that came out a while back, now, Nightline had Jesus Campos getting on an elevator from what looked like the basement level, because when he was getting on that elevator, and I don't even know which elevator it was, because it looked like a bank with, I think, was it 2 elevators, something like that? I don't know. It just looks, screwy. It wasn't the service elevators, right? We know what the service elevators look like inside and out. It wasn't the service elevator. It didn't have the buttons that the service elevator has. It was completely different. It looked like a regular elevator for guests. And the floor where he was getting onto that elevator was a dark blue. I've never seen that anywhere in that hotel, so I'm guessing that would be the basement level. We see it in some of the body cams of the guys running around in the basement, so I'm guessing he was getting on in the basement, at least in that footage. And of course, the timestamp was doctored in that footage. On all that footage, the timestamp was doctored up. So, and we do see in some of the reports later that the timestamps were off in a lot of their what was it that I was looking at that the timestamps were off. They were trying to fix timestamps, but so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, your timestamps are off, so they had to be included in there. But what you had in that Nightline special, not the HLN one we just watched, but the Nightline one, where they showed Jesus getting on the elevator, is he got on that elevator at 9:46, right? The time on that was, of course, doctored, was 9:46 at night. All right, so according to this, he was assigned to check several hotel services. So he was assigned to several hot sauce, whatever that you want to call them. He was assigned to check several of these. Now, I just read the statement from the guy that's was working that night, that was sending out these hot sauces, and I don't think he sent them out to camp. Well, it was very vague the way he described it, but it sounded like he set him up, but he didn't actually send them out to him. So he actually, had a part in it. And so he was saying that he thought it was about 5 or 6. He wasn't sure. He wasn't too sure of himself when he was talking, but he said he thought it was about 5 or 6. So, somebody sent me a message saying that he saw something in a report somewhere where Jesus Campos supposedly went into the Delano and checked some stuff in the Delano. Now, according to this guy's statement, what he said, the way this works is you have two guards in Delano, which I don't care about and I don't really know much about because I've never actually stayed in Delano. And you have three in the Mandalay Bay, at any one time doing this job, I guess. So what that would tell me is you have one guard each elevator, right? Makes a little bit of sense. It's that's an efficient way to do this. Um, as far as that goes, you don't need guys going all the way back down the bottom level to get in another elevator, go back up. That way they just stay on that one elevator bank and work those floors 1 through 17, 18 through 30, and then 31 and up. So, so there was some interesting stuff that came out of that with that actual interview witness statement. The way this guy says it works is he says it works differently because he was pressed for what the protocol is for dealing with these hot sauce alarms. And when he was pressed for that, he said that it's different. There is no actual protocol. They all do things differently depending on the shift and who's working. So, he explained how his work. But before I get to that, the way he said it, that this does work is if an alarm is an hour, late, an hour, a door is open for an hour. If a door is open for an hour, then it sends messages. And I think he said messages. So I don't know if that's text messages or emails. I don't remember exactly if it was specific, but it sends messages to, he said, some of the assistant supervisors. Okay. Whatever that means. I don't know. And then if it's open for 2 hours, then it sends a message to all assistant supervisors. And if it's open for 3 hours, then it sends an email to corporate, right? That's how he explained it. So the way I see this working, as far as this goes, because he did explain how he does this. And, you have these security guards that are going on breaks, lunch breaks. It sounded like they're half-hour lunch breaks by what he was saying. And of course, I don't know the labor laws in the state of Nevada, but I'm guessing they have 15-minute breaks in between their shift. And then you're going to have a half-hour lunch break, right? So half an hour is not that big of a deal if you're, you got an hour to spend, right? So after an hour, your boss gets notified, right? And you're going to have to answer some questions. So I'm guessing, and he said that basically the hot sauce, there's no protocol. They play it fast and loose with it. It is what it is. So I'm guessing your goal as the guy setting up these alarms is to make sure you don't get that uncomfortable call after an hour. And you definitely don't want the 2-hour call, I'm guessing. So after an hour, so what they're doing is they're setting these up. And if somebody goes on lunch break and, what they're doing is he's setting up these things, at the half-hour mark, shoving them all off to the security officer. Then he's closing them out. He's closing them out and we know that. He's closing them out as he gives them to a security. StreamYard house. All right. I think I'm back. Yeah. Sounds like I'm back. All right. So, oh man, showing my ugly mug again. Let me get that off. In fact, I'm going to kill the cam, dude, because I haven't shaved in a while. You don't need to look at me. So, anyway, so it looks like, what this guy's doing is he's trying to avoid that hour-long thing, right? So that's why they close him out immediately when they hand him off security guards. Because, if that guy comes back from, his lunch late, or he decides to screw off a little bit and it takes him a while to get to all those doors, then he doesn't want to have to answer the questions for, why it took, that amount of time. Is the way I see it happening. Now, there was an argument with that where, the hot sauce alarm didn't show up till, about 50 minutes in the, after the breach. I believe it's 50 minutes. So there's an argument there to be had, but I believe what's most likely happening is that is the actual alarm triggering, saying, this door has been open for way too long. But at the same time, these guys are probably watching those doors all night long. They probably have a real-time counter of what's going on. They're probably not just waiting for this alarm to ping off of them and tell them that there's a problem. They're probably sitting on some of these alarms and then just setting them up after, whatever time period they deem necessary. Because, again, he said there is no protocol. It's just kind of fast and loose. My time there, when I was there, I left that door open for 2 hours, 10 minutes. I didn't get a single phone call. No security guards came up to bug me. Nothing. So I think the hot sauce alarm system is most likely something that was put into place for possibly for insurance purposes or something. I don't know. I can't prove that, but yeah, it sure didn't seem to be working very well when I was there. And that was by accident. I didn't even mean to leave that open. So that's that. And, so if the nightline footage is correct, then that kind of throws this off. Nightline footage says he got in that elevator at 9:46, right? That gives him 13 minutes to get to that 9:59 mark when he was supposedly on the other side of that door. You can say that works because, you have basically a minute and a half on an elevator trip, because I've done it. And then you have, I think it's a minute and a half. If I remember right, it's a minute and a half. But then you got about 2-minute walks down those hallways. Now, you could say you cut some time by going up and down the stairwells. Maybe you had some rooms that are close to the end of the hallway, and, it was a little bit easier for them. But, still, it is a tight schedule, and it definitely conflicts with this right here. Now, if he was over there in the Delano or something, or, he was assigned at 2:18 to check these, and what the hell was he doing from 2:18 to, not 2:18, 9:18 to 9:46 when he was down in the basement for some damn reason. Again, I haven't gotten to that point where I've read the statement or wherever that was seen that he went to the Delano to check rooms. Maybe someone was on lunch break over there. I don't know. I have a hard time, buying that, but, we'll see in the future, I guess. So Security Officer Campos is on the 30th floor. So basically what I'm saying is that line basically negates that stupid nightline footage, unless there's something more to it. Security Officer Campos is on 30th floor and responded to the 32nd floor via the stairwell in the north end of the 100 wing. Now, the 30th floor, I believe that is the floor where the police ended up running into, finding her. Well, they did. They ran into the damn room with the two people sleeping with the door open. And they noticed the door was open. And these people were sleeping, right? So chances are that door had been closed for a little bit of time at that point. Again, I don't know how long these people wait for a door to stay open before they actually hand it out. But on 30th floor, I believe it was 30th floor. And so Campos was up there. He was checking a door. Did he, though? That's a little screwy right there. That's a little interesting. Now, I could be wrong. It could have been the 29th, but I believe when those officers went up that stairwell, I believe the 29th floor was the floor where there were already officers on the 29th. They went yelling down the hallway at them, saying, we're going to go up to the 30th, and they went up to the 30th. I believe. I could be completely wrong, but I believe that's what happened. I'd have to go back and check, I guess. But regardless, there was a door open on one of those damn floors. Why didn't Campos check that? If that was his job that night. Security officer Campos attempted to enter the hallway of the 100 wing, but the door would not open. Okay, yeah. He took the, and then down here it says a hot sauce alarm is triggered by a guest room door that is left ajar for a predetermined amount of time. What that predetermined amount of time, they apparently don't want to say. He took the stairs, well, we kind of get it, I guess, in the door logs. He took the stairs of the 33rd floor and used the guest elevator to access 32nd floor. Now, according to Campos, though, he went down. He didn't go up. He went down the 31st floor and went up to the 32nd floor. According to this, he went up a floor and then went down to the 32nd. Why he did that, or why they changed that? You know, they're claiming that they got footage of him in the elevator. That's how they found out. But you know, I mean, Campos ain't a very good witness. Once on the 32nd floor, security officer Campos, love how they keep saying that. You couldn't just say Jesus. Entered the foyer leading to the stairwell. He discovered an L bracket screwed into the door and door frame, which prevented it from opening. Security officer Campos called his dispatch center with the house phone located in the foyer to report the discovery. Now, yeah, there was some discussion about or dispute about whether he used a cell phone and even the guy whose statement I was just talking about, that guy said, and I don't remember what statement, I don't remember what PDF that was, but I'll get to it eventually. I think it's 20. So located in the foyer to report the discovery, right? So there was some, discussion on whether that was he used a house phone, whether he used a cell phone. Even that guy said he didn't know whether he used a house phone or a cell phone because he wasn't the one that answered the call. But according to this, which I don't know how much I put into this, he used a house phone. Not too big of an issue. Security dispatch center then called engineering section to have the door checked. So, I believe Campos said they connected him to engineering. So, there were a couple different stories there. One was this one. One was that he talked to engineering himself. I think another was that he was on the line while his security dispatch talked to engineering, which I guess would match this too. Security officer Campos heard what he describes rapid drilling sounds coming from 32135 after he hung up the phone. Now, rapid drilling. So this guy, that's what he said. And that's in his report. Now, again, it's Campos. So who the fuck knows what this guy, was even trying to say, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But here at rapid drilling, he stuck to that story, even when Ellen tried to push him into saying that rapid drilling was actually gunfire. But, he didn't fall for that. He didn't fall for the bait on that. He said to her, I believe his response when she said, and by drilling, you mean gunfire? He goes, yeah, I heard drilling sounds. So, I'll have to go back and look. But to my knowledge, yeah, that's what he said. And I just remember thinking that's odd that he did not actually fall for that she was trying to push him into saying that. Anyway. Campos heard what he describes automatic gunfire coming from the area of room 32135 and realized he'd been shot in the left calf. So he knows the difference between the sound of automatic gunfire and drilling. He took cover in the alcove room, rooms 32122 and 32124, not according to his statement, but according to this. And that's a weird part of this whole thing is how do they know? He didn't say that. He didn't say he was in 122, 124. Did Shuck say that? I have to go look at Shuck's damn statement again. But, Campos didn't say that's where he was. Of course, he could have been sitting there huddled in the hallway looking across at him, and those were the numbers he remembered. But and maybe he just didn't remember at all. And utilized both his cellular phone and radio to notify his dispatch he was shot. Now, I wonder which one we're hearing. I think we're hearing the radio when we hear that Campos talking. Security officer Campos advised he was shot with a BB or pellet gun. Yeah, he did. And that's a pain in the ass. While waiting for other security personnel to arrive, security officer Campos continued to hear gunfire coming from the room. All right. Engineer Shuck. Love this guy. Engineer Stephen Shuck finished fixing a leak in room 62207 when he was directed to respond to the 32nd floor. There's that again. Reference the bracket, preventing the stairwell door from opening. Engineer Shuck used the service elevator in the 200 wing to access the 32nd floor. When he arrived on 32nd floor, he gathered his tools and equipment and walked from the 200 wing to the 100 wing. All right. As Engineer Shuck walked up the hallway, and I remember, I forget what his name was, man. Well, one guy that was in this into this for a while. Yeah, he was talking about where was his card at, where were his tools, Supposedly he was walking down that damn hallway with the screwdriver in his pocket, and that ain't gonna take out fucking bolts. I mean, it probably would have with that, but with what was, the way that was put together. But he doesn't know what he's doing, at that point. So he's walking down the hallway. Yeah, you'd have something a little meatier than a damn screwdriver in your pocket. Anyway, as Engineer Shuck walked up the hallway of the 100 wing, he observed Security Officer Campos poke his head out of an alcove. Engineer Shuck then heard rapid gunfire coming from the end of the 100 hallway, which lasted approximately 10 seconds. All right. When the gunfire stopped, he heard Security Officer Campos tell him to take cover. When the gunfire stopped. Okay, so he's not shooting down the hallway at this point. Engineer Shuck stepped into an alcove, and gunfire again erupted down the hallway coming from room 32135. The gunfire lasted a few seconds, then it stopped. The gunfire started again after a brief pause, but Engineer Shuck believed it was directed outside, not down the hallway. I don't know. Sound? I don't know. Was he looking down the hallway? Trying to check it out. Let's see. Inside. Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Anyway, inside the Las Vegas Village, over 50 LVMPD personnel were on overtime assignment. Really? Really? They got 50? No. Well, yeah. Someone was arguing with this with me the other day. We're on overtime assignments for the Route 91 Festival. 50 just seems like way too many cops for an event like that, which has security. That sounds like a total of security and police, but that's not what they're saying here. And we don't see 50 cops running around that venue that night. So, I mean, I guess that could be total. Maybe they have two shifts, but it's not that long of an event. Usually that's overtime for them, working events like this. So 50, I mean, just sounds like a shit ton of people. Even if you split that 25-25, I guess that makes a little more sense. But then again, this event is not a day and night thing. It's just it starts, I forget what time it starts. I think one of the girls was saying it starts like 3 o'clock or something like that. Anyway, that's confusing. That's completely odd. All right, so the initial gunshots were heard on an officer's body-worn camera. Officers and concert goers initially believed the gunfire to be fireworks. Yes. As Paddock targeted the concert goers with gunfire, officers quickly determined they were dealing with an active shooter and broadcast the information over the radio. Okay. That's kind of redundant information, but all right. The crowd inside Las Vegas Village started reacting to the gunfire, and Jason Aldean ran off stage. He saved his guitar, though. Saved his guitar, but didn't feel like saying anything into the microphone. It's kind of a dick move. Officers and concert goers began treating victims who were struck by gunfire. They also tried to get concert goers out of the venue in a safe manner. Officers determined the gunfire was coming from an elevated position, possibly from the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Medical personnel were requested for multiple people struck by gunfire. Pretty vanilla statement right there. As an active shooter incident was occurring, two LVMPD officers were in the security office of the Manly Bay handling a call for service referenced two females who were in custody for trespassing. Oh, yeah, man. Okay, we're talking Manly Bay. We're not talking about the venue. All right. The officers heard the radio broadcast, and trespassing basically just means that you were kicked out of that hotel. You're not allowed back. So, yeah, and then we got the information obtained by LVMPD body worn camera. Yeah, whatever. The officers heard the radio broadcast of gunfire at the Route 91 Harvest Festival. Both officers, along with security personnel, exited the security office and responded towards the Las Vegas Village. As they were making their way through the casino, security personnel advised the officers of an active shooter on the 32nd floor of the hotel. The officers then directed security to escort them to that location. The officers and security personnel entered the center core guest elevators and were again advised the shooter was on the 32nd floor. All right. The officers made the tactical decision. Really? Did they, though? To respond to the 31st floor and take the stairwell to the 32nd floor. Well, they're not lying. We see that in the body-worn camera. Hold on. Let me see if I can read what you're saying here. Well, there were cops in the venue. I mean, we just watched some of the body cam. So there were definitely cops in the venue. Let me see. Am I even coming through? All right. Yeah, so there were definitely cops in the venue. We see that on body cam. Definitely. Let's see, 50. Yeah, 50's a lot, man. That's a lot of people. No, during the shooting, bro. During the shooting, we see cops in the venue. In fact, the cam that I just did today, there were 3 cops that were running, from wherever they were, wherever they were at inside the venue, and they all started running towards the gunfire. They were already in there. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they had time to actually run into that event at that point, because that was towards the beginning of the gunfire. You see people starting to run right as they're, just kind of walking around. And those cops were already in the venue. So there were some police that were actually in the venue. Usually in these events, I think there is. Yeah. But 50 is a lot, bro. 50 is a lot. And I don't know, man. That seems like a lot of cops to have. And a little, 13 acres. Yeah, it's not that big of a venue, though, really. Especially when you got security guards. You probably had 50 security guards there. But, yeah, not too sure. Let's see. So LVMPD officers converged. Varson Hendricks, the officers made tactical decision to respond 31st floor and take the stairwell to the 32nd floor. They're not lying. They're not lying here, because he actually did say when he was going to the 31st floor, he said, should we go to the 31st floor and take the stairwell up, while he was in the elevator on the casino level. That was his plan. But then all of a sudden he heard that gunfire and he was like, hell fucking no. So he chickened out, and he sat in that 31 hallway. That was where he screwed up. It wasn't the idea to take the go 31st floor, take the stairwell up, which he wouldn't have gotten through that door. I mean, maybe he would have if he pulled hard enough. I don't fucking know. Maybe he would have been able to break that shitty little L bracket, because realistically it looks big in the picture, but if you kind of look at it in the body cam, it's tiny. It's a shit little L bracket, man. It's tiny, and it's not bolted in very well apparently. So they might have been able to get up there and maybe shoot some holes through that door or something. Who knows what they could have done. But they didn't do that. He got up 31st floor, had the plan to go up and take the stairwell to get up to the 32nd floor, which would have been good on him, but he didn't. Where he fucked up, he froze in that hallway, he sat in that hallway, and he let people get mowed down. That's where he fucked up. And I don't remember if someone said he got his job back or whatnot, but, whatever. LV and PD officers converged on Las Vegas Village and Mandalay Bay. Officers formed multiple strike teams and entered the Mandalay Bay from various entrance points. A team of officers, including a special weapons and tactics operator, reached the 32nd floor via the stairwell in the 100 wing. Officers did not hear gunfire coming from room 32135. Officers were able to manually, they didn't hear it at that point. It's kind of vague. Officers were able to manually breach the L bracket on the stairwell door and gain access to the hallway. Officers immediately observed a food service cart, which had wires running from it to room 32134, and prepared themselves for the possibility of an improvised explosive device. Did they, though? Did they? They didn't really give a shit about that thing, man. They broke that fucking damn door down anyway. And they didn't even really check that thing until after they'd already breached. The decision was made to use an explosive breach to make entry into room 32135. After a successful breach of the doors to room 32135, officers entered the room and found Paddock deceased on the floor. Okay, so that's the timeline of this, man. They breached the room. He was dead on the floor, which I believe. And the only reason I believe that is because of the liver fucking mortis, right? So that takes at least 15 minutes for that shit to start during certain, in certain circumstances. So yeah, he was probably dead for, closer to an hour than these guys going in there fighting with him, wrestling with him, and then shooting him. Paddock appeared to have a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Yeah, nobody shoves a gun up somebody's mouth to shoot. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Officers cleared that doesn't happen. Officers cleared the remainder of the room and observed multiple rifles in various locations throughout the room, as well as hundreds of expended casings. A second explosive breach was utilized to gain access to room 32134 through the connecting doors. Immediately after the breach, SWAT officer negligently discharged his rifle, which, you can actually hear that. You can actually distinguish that. Officers cleared the room 32134, finding several rifles in the room. So several is kind of a vague term, man, because it wasn't, I forget how many were in there. 6? Yeah, I guess you could say several. Officers, medical personnel, and concert goers continued to the evacuation of victims in the Las Vegas Village venues. Several triage sites were established in the venue and surrounding areas. In the venue, triage site in the venue. Injuries ranged from being minor in nature to fatal. Hundreds of wounded were transported to area hospitals by ambulance and privately owned citizen vehicles. Yeah. Sequence of events. The details listed below. And I'm kind of, how am I doing on... he was 419 for a minute. Like I said, live mortis thing, man. That's suspect, man. That's suspect as hell, man. I don't really buy that. Never did buy that. The reason I don't buy that, and I know, I've argued just about everybody over that shit because I know a lot of people like that theory. But I mean, until you can disprove the article of a whatever that doctor was that came up with that paper that said it can happen in as little as 15 minutes. Yeah, you're fucked. You do a simple Google search, it'll say 2 hours. But you do a little more searching than that, just a simple fucking Google search, then you're gonna find out that it varies on a lot of different things. I mean, and they're saying when it's like, I guess, cold, I guess it happens quicker, if I remember right. Do I believe that's real, Paddock? I mean, I haven't seen anything telling me that it's not, right? So, until I see something that I cannot, till I see something that's conclusive to a point that tells me that it's not Paddock, then, I got to say it's him, right? That's all we got. We got this guy. So, until I see something completely different, I don't believe the the whole thing with the ears being detached, because there is an explanation for that. The eye color being different, there is an explanation for that, and that's a pretty simple damn explanation. Um, yeah, and livor mortis. That's I'm going to say straight up, man, that's stupid. That theory's dumb. Because if you believe that Paddock was killed sometime during the day and was left there for that livor mortis to happen, then you have to explain how the shooter was shooting out that window, because it was that window at well, most likely. I mean, there hasn't been any evidence whatsoever to the contrary of that. You would have to explain where the person that fired the last volley, where he went with, I guess we had a whole security team up there at that point at 10:15, and who shot fucking Paddock in the mouth? I was drinking an umbrella drink in the Philippines. Yeah, I think I don't know what Wynn was doing in that interview. I don't know if that. I don't know what he was doing. That was strange. When he said he didn't drink. Maybe he just didn't drink much, man. I'm not much of a drinker. I don't drink very often, but yeah, once in a while. I mean, someone throws something in my face, maybe I'll take a few shots of it, but I don't know. Let's see. Details listed below were gathered from several different sources. Okay, so LVMPD body-worn cameras, Uber video. Corey Langdon, thank you. Interviews to include officers, civilians, and Mandalay Bay employees, Mandalay Bay video surveillance, lock interrogation documents, cell phone videos, and records. It says all internal changes to Paddock's room were done by Mandalay Bay computer without Paddock's knowledge. Try to shut down some of them conspiracies that were going to come out. They must have saw that coming. Yeah, I saw that. Eric, said he did. Well, he didn't say drank. He said girls bring you cocktails and big shrimp. Whatever. I guess a fucking weirdo, man. I don't believe anything Eric says, to be honest with you. He admitted he was full of shit at one point. He admitted he was lying in those interviews. At least he said he was lying in those interviews. So, or he was acting, I believe he said. So, at that point, he's basically telling you that he's lying. So, is he lying by saying that he's lying, or is he actually lying when he legit says he's lying? It's stupid. Okay, so for the purposes of this section, the sequence of events will begin on September 25th when Paddock checked into the Mandalay Bay and end with the LVMPD officers making entry into Paddock's room. All times of this section are approximates based upon different time sources and different time stamps, which were all utilized to document this section of the report. All dates and times listed below occurred in the year 2017. So again, with the time stamps, there was a God, where did I read that? Where it was, I believe, one of the security guys when he's talking about putting together some of the tapes for the LVMPD, and he was talking about how he had to alter the timestamps because for some reason they weren't matching up. $1,000, yeah, comped. There was that video, man. That I got it comp video. I can't find that no more, man. That thing was hilarious. A little rap video they made with Eric Paddock. I can't find that anymore. Okay, so moving on. On around September 9th, Paddock made his room reservation for a Vista suite ending in 235, but not a specific floor. Because, that's a pretty simple thing, man. When the 35 rooms are all the ending rooms, all those rooms, I believe, end in 35. So, basically, he just wanted a suite. He wanted a Vista suite down there at the end. So he wanted a big room down at the end. But ending in 235, that's it's kind of strange, and not a specific floor. That's also strange. Although unless he may know the Mandalay Bay well enough to know that the suites are going to put a guy like him in are probably towards the top floors. But yeah, I don't know. That's it's a little strange. On September 20th, Paddock was internally assigned to room 33235. On September 21st, Paddock was internally changed to room 32235. On September 24th, Paddock was assigned to room 32135. So September 24th. Let's see. Yeah, so that was the day before he showed up. It flip flopped him, which would have been what, Thursday. So they probably gave his room out to somebody. Um, they probably gave his room out to someone who was attending the concert. So most of the people attending that concert ended up over there, Manly Bay. So September 25th is where we're starting here. I guess we're not doing the Ogden in the prelim. At approximately 3:33 in the afternoon, Paddock checked into room 32135. Again, I don't have. I didn't go through this beforehand, so I don't have the actual video in front of me to see what time was on the video of him checking in. But I believe it's fairly accurate. I believe a lot of this is fairly accurate. It's just a little off, but that's because he probably spent, quite a few minutes, arguing about his room. Paddock checked into room 32135, the Manly Bay, under his name. Paddock booked the connecting room 32134 for September 29th. He did so under his girlfriend Danley's name. Paddock was set to check out both rooms on October 2nd. From approximately 3 in the afternoon to 3 to almost 4 in the afternoon. Paddock was seen at Mizuya Sushi inside the. Now, that's weird, man, because I thought in the final report it didn't actually mention him at. I don't remember. This was written differently in the final. I don't know. We'll get to it eventually. Paddock was seen at Mizuya Sushi inside Manly Bay. He then drove his vehicle to the Self Park. From the Self Park to the valet, and then returned to the front desk with 5 suitcase bags. Front desk, really? So what is this thing that we're confirmed by valet ticket? Okay, so that's how they got that information. And returned to now this timeline. I don't know. The one on the final report is busted as hell. It just doesn't work. So and I'm not going to go through this with a fine tooth comb right now. That would just take forever. At approximately 4 o'clock, Bellman met Paddock, escorted him to room 32135. Paddock requested to go through the service elevators, not go through the guest elevators. According to interviews, this request is not uncommon for guests of the hotel. Paddock rolled 1 bag, and the bellman used the luggage cart for the other 4 bags. From approximately 9:37 at night to 9:40. Paddock has his vehicle removed from valet, and Paddock left the Manly Bay. So they got those, I guess, those exact times from cameras and stuff like that. All right, so we're good. At approximately, 11 o'clock at night, Paddock arrived in Mesquite, Nevada. So from 9:40 to 11 o'clock at night. So it took him about, an hour and 20 minutes to get to Mesquite on this day. And that changes quite a bit throughout the days, and it actually becomes a bit problematic. Although, I'm not going to go into that here. That was one of Hunter's things, but I'm not going to really go too much into that because that has to do with the Ogden and the D, and that's going to be in the reports later. So 26, September 26th, Paddock spent time at his home in Mesquite, Nevada, downtown Las Vegas, and the Mandalay Bay. These overviews are terrible. From approximately 10 in the morning to about almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, according to cell phone records, Paddock's cell phone showed in Mesquite, Nevada. So, and I think this was brought up before, it says his cell phone was in Mesquite, Nevada. It doesn't say anything about him. They didn't know if he was there or not, or where he was, or what was going on here. They're just saying that his cell phone showed, and he had 3 cell phones, for Christ's sake. So, oh man, here we go. Just lagged out. All right. All right. I'm lagging out a little bit here. All right, we're back. All right. So, the interesting thing about that is the way they frame that. According to cell phone records, the cell phone showed in Mesquite, Nevada. He had 3 cell phones. So, and one was obviously a burner phone, I guess. But, yeah, so which cell phone are we going off of here? We're showing his cell phone. So we know which one is actually his cell phone, or are we saying that the other 2 were in Nevada, or all 3 were in Nevada, Mesquite, Nevada? It's kind of vague the way they put that there. And it's saying his cell phones are there, not necessarily that he's there. This guy's sleeping pattern means that. So let's see here, real quick. So he showed up over there in Mesquite, Nevada, about 11 o'clock at night. This guy usually has a sleeping pattern where he sleeps during the day. He sleeps about 3 in the morning to sometime around 8 or 9 in the morning, 7 to 9 in the morning. So I guess from let's see, so from 11 o'clock at night, 10, 12 in the morning, where was his cell phone? Where was his cell phone, right? See, that's why this is just a shit show. Because, we're saying that his cell phone was in Mesquite, Nevada from 10:12, which is pretty approximate. That is pretty much an approximate time to almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? But they're not saying, the way I would expect this to be written, what I would expect to see here is Paddock's cell phone showed in Mesquite, Nevada, from 2300 hours all the way up to 2:55 in the afternoon. But that's not what we're seeing here. And this is where we come into a lot of problems. This is why this is so broken and fucked up. But that it's what we got, So I don't understand where they're going with that. I don't understand why they did that. So they're saying from 10:12, that's when they pinged his cell phone, or that's when now it's possible he turned the cell phones off, man. This guy definitely was paranoid. He taped up his cameras. It's possible that I don't know how, but he somehow ran his cell phones out of batteries, took the batteries out of his cell phones. Most cell phones, 2017, if you had an iPhone, you couldn't take the damn battery out of them. So that's questionable to me, man. So it is possible that this guy was so paranoid, schizophrenic, I guess. This would be the argument that I would pose for this. That this guy was such paranoid schizophrenic that at 11 o'clock at night, he showed up in Mesquite. Shortly after that, he decided to turn his cell phones off. However he does that, Faraday box or some stupid shit like that. And which I don't think is in the reports, but and then turned him back on at 10:12 after he woke up. And that's the only explanation I can come up with on that. At approximately about 40 minutes later, Paddock completed a wire transfer in Mesquite, Nevada, of $50,000 from his Wells Fargo account to an account in the Philippines. Nowhere does this say Mary Lou Danley. It does not say Mary Lou Danley. It says an account in the Philippines. So, that's so vague that, did that money go to Mary Lou Danley? We don't have anything saying that. So, to me, that's interesting. Now, did a wire transfer in Mesquite, Nevada, of $50,000 from his Wells Fargo account. Doesn't say he walked into a Wells Fargo. And I know that's what, is kind of the running thought process here, but does not say anywhere on here that he walked into an actual bank and Paddock in a bank, walked into an actual bank and did this wire transfer. Doesn't say that. So, I don't know much about wiring $50,000 and how all that works. So, not sure about that, right? And did he wire from Wells Fargo? Or did he do it at a Western Union or something? How does this work? How did that happen? It's kind of bizarre. It's very vague. That's the problem. It's very, very vague. Um, from approximately 2012. Oh my God, my calculator's running out in my brain, running out of energy here. 8:12 to 9 o'clock. So for about an hour. Well, no, 8:12 to, yeah. So Pack drove from Mesquite, Nevada to the Ogden. So this is the problem, I think. I think this was a problem area. And I think we actually have video. This was the day when he didn't drive straight to the well. The problem with this, and I believe this is the day. This is Hunter's day. This was the last video he did, I believe. This guy took 48 minutes, according to this right here. Took 48 minutes to do a drive that normally took him an hour and 20 minutes the day before. Now, that's it's completely possible. This is at night, so there's less traffic. It's not that big of a deal. But the average speed that Hunter worked out on this was that he drove 115 miles an hour. Oh God, what is it? Chrysler Pacifica tops out at 115 miles an hour. So this guy was pedal to the floor the whole time. So if this is legit, he was in a hurry to get back. Why was he in a hurry to get back? What was he doing at the El Cortez? He was in a hurry to get back. That was Hunter's question, right? Now, I always argued with him, this isn't possible. This did not happen. There's no way this guy hauled that much ass to get back, especially with a car full of guns. If indeed, I believe he brought bags here. Yeah, he said 6 suitcases, 1 rolling suitcase later. So, he's bringing supposedly, we're supposed to believe a bunch of guns or ammunition or something, man. If he gets caught at 115 miles an hour, those are going to be some difficult questions to answer, man. Those would be some real difficult questions. And you're probably going to jail, bro. I mean, you're at least going to spend a night, in the clink there. So not too sure about that, man. And I later we're going to get to the point where we're going to see the D Hotel, what time he showed up at the D Hotel. So the argument here between that I was having, with all this was got some lag going. All right, looks like we're back. Let me get myself off of this thing. Oh, it's easier to read. All right, so talking about the drive from Mesquite to the Ogden, 48 minutes. And later, I think what we have something, and this is something we railed about. We went back and forth on. This was a major, major, major issue. The line below it says from approximately 2102 to 2216 hours. See, that's real specific too. 2102, man. Paddock walked around and gambled at the El Cortez Hotel. According to something we're going to see later in the statements, or the evidence, it's going to say that he went to the D Hotel on this day, and that he was seen. Jesus, man. It's getting late, man. He was seen in the D Hotel on camera this day, walking into the D Hotel. The D Hotel is in the same area as the Ogden, but not quite the kind of trip you would make if you're rolling a bunch of suitcases all over the place, because it's across a busy little area there. So that's kind of an issue, man. That's a problem. I don't remember exactly what time it was that the camera said they saw him in the D, but it was about the same deal where it was about 48 minutes. Average speed, like I said, 115 miles an hour when you get into the city. I believe the way this was all worked out, with Hunter's idea here is, once you get in the city, you're going to have to go back down to about 40 miles an hour. You're not going to be doing 115 miles an hour in Vegas, or probably in Mesquite either. Um, that would be interesting, but no, I don't think that happened. So, uh, and that drive is fairly, bland. It is a bumpy ass road though. And if anyone's ever done 115 miles an hour, which I'm sure some of you have in here, when you get up to 115 miles an hour, things get squirrely. And if you're going to hit a bump, man, that's no longer a bump. That's a jump. That's a ramp. So I've watched, drives, watched, cameras on YouTube here. You can watch a person drive from Mesquite, Nevada to Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's a bumpy ass road. It's a very bumpy ass road. So there's a lot of problems with that right there, those two lines, because it did not take him 48 minutes to drive all the way from Mesquite to Vegas. I don't believe that. I think that's bullshit. Um, and he didn't go into the El Cortez, according to something we're going to see later. He went into the D. And even above, it said he gambled at multiple casinos. For this to be correct right here, that he went to the El Cortez means he went to one casino and gambled. So, they said multiple up top. So, yeah, there's problems. This timeline sucks. It's horrible. For approximately, let's see, 22, 23 hours, right? So what's this? 7 minutes later, Paddock returned to the Ogden. So it took him 7 minutes to get to the El Cortez, the Ogden, but it took him 2 minutes to walk there. That's not right. That's not right. But if you're talking about the D Hotel, not the Ogden, or not the El Cortez, 7 minutes is about right, man. That's a busy area, for him to walk across that little area right there. It's not that close. So yeah, 7 minutes would actually work if we replace the El Cortez with the D. At approximately, 11 minutes later, Paddock departed the Ogden and drove to Mandalay Bay. From approximately, my calculator's all messed up, 10:45 at night to 10:52 at night. So it took him about 11 minutes to get to the valet, Mandalay Bay. Paddock valeted his vehicle at Mandalay Bay and took 6 suitcases located on a luggage cart and 1 rolling suitcase. Paddock rolled the suitcase himself up to room 32135 by way of the service elevator with help of a bellman. The bellman who escorted Paddock on September 25th was different than the bellman who escorted Paddock on September 26th. So, we can say, just to argue the point, that those bags did not actually come from Mesquite, that he didn't bring anything back from Mesquite that would trigger an alarm. So the 115 miles an hour, okay. But again, that car tops out at 115 miles an hour. But we could say that he didn't have any guns in his car at that time on that drive, that he picked those up from the Ogden, then brought them from the Ogden to the Mandalay Bay. So at approximately 11:08 at night, so almost 20 minutes later, 15 or so, Paddock began gambling in the Mandalay Bay and continued gambling until the next morning. Now, I don't remember if this is the morning where that's bullshit, but I don't have the video loaded up right now, so I'm not even going to bother. Probably should have, though. Probably should. But you know what? At that, I think I'm going to pause this here, and I think I'm going to come back to this later because it is getting early, and I'm having trouble concentrating on this garbage. So with that, I think I'm going to end this, and I'll probably continue it tomorrow. So, as always, stay safe out there. The world's a fucking mess. And, yeah, thanks for hanging out.